guys. I'm sorry if we might have offended some of your ears and eyes a little bit there. But I'd love to bring down some of the cast and crew if we could. I think that'd be great. We have Molly Dunsworth here, who played Abby. Greg Smith, who played Slick. Nick Bateman, who played Ivan. Rutger just stepped out to use the bathroom. He'll be back in a second. I'd like to bring down my DOP as well, Kareem Hussein. And Rob Cotterill, our producer, and John Davies, the writer of the film.
Let's get Neve down.
Oh, and Neve, our producer.
Get
Please come down. All right, so we just open it up for questions, I guess.
Does anyone have any questions?
There's going to be a sequel.
Yeah. I don't know, if you guys talk about it enough, hopefully there'll be enough buzz. I'd love to do a sequel.
Which was the part you were afraid for your mom to see?
There were a couple. The school bus scene. The scene where Drake is talking to his boys and there's the naked girls beating on the guy upside down. I don't know if you noticed, but they're sitting at the Last Supper. And I grew up in a pretty strong Catholic family, and I remember my mom, she walked onto the set, and it was a closed set because we had naked women, and I didn't want her to know what was going on. And one of my best friends, Mojo Widgery, was on set, and Mom shows up, and she's like, "How come I can't go in there? What's going on?" "Oh, well." And he explains the whole scene in full detail. And I walk out of the set, and I see my mom. I'm like, "Hi, Mom," and she just gives me that look. She wasn't too happy. But she's a huge supporter. Oh, and we have Rutger Hauer here as well, too. Any other questions? Right there.
You had a shit ton of gory effects. What do you think was the most difficult one to do?
Most difficult effect.
What?
Stab.
They were all kind of difficult, but the bone shard arm, the hero bone shard arm that Molly kills the Drake with, it was a pretty difficult thing to kind of rig on her arm because she had to hold onto it and it was retractable, and she had to couldn't cut her arm off, so we had to cheat it and shoot around how she had to hide it in the clothes.
Any other questions? Over there?
I've always wanted to kill somebody too. So I thought, is the shotgun really the way to go?
What's that, sorry?
Is the shotgun really the way to go?
I'd go with
No, come on.
The go-kart, the bumper cart is the best way to go. And just so you know, like, that was my dad. We had some extra heads, and they were modeled on our special effects guy, Henry.
Thank you, Dad.
There he is, here's Henry. And so we needed a bald guy, and so I just thought of my dad, and he came down and said, "You can't shave or do anything, you gotta come looking greasy." And he came down, and we blew it up.
He's like a hobo.
That's right.
Yeah, kind of. Question.
Yeah, I just wondered, you were it said you were inspired by like some grindhouse flicks. I'm not really familiar with there. What kind of movies were you inspired to make this?
I guess me and John, we grew up together watching genre films in my parents' back shed, and we would scour all the pawn shops around our neighborhood every day after school. And a lot of those films I guess, well, filmmakers that were really inspiring to me were directors like Brian Trenchard Smith, Walter Hill, John Carpenter, Jack Hill. But as for films, Dead End Drive-In was a big influence. Rolling Thunder, a film from the 70s called Vice Squad, which is pretty amazing. Wings Hauser is just insane in that film.
Yeah.
and The Exterminator, and Death Wish for sure, absolutely. And even like some of Rutger's past films, The Hitcher and The Blood of Heroes were huge inspirations.
Yeah, The Hitcher. Yeah, The Hitcher. I don't know if you recognize the music. It's in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is that why you wanted to do that?
Well, growing up, when me and John were first discovering cinema and growing our love for it, Rutger Hauer was our first favorite actor that we tracked down every single thing he did. And it's been an amazing pleasure and honor that we got to work with him on this feature. It's been incredible.
How did you make that happen?
Well, yeah, do you want to answer that one? How did we come to it?
My agent sent me a script, and he said, you don't have to read it, they don't have any money. I said, well, okay. Ask me to have more money, and then maybe I'll read it. And then he called me back and said, they have more money. And then I'd read the script by now, and the script didn't really flow very well. Because it had all this fuck. And most films, really guys, don't do it. It's an art. Cursing is an art. And so that kind of, I went, I don't know, where's the story? Anyways, so I said to Rob, I think, can you get Jason on Skype? Because I was shooting in Cape Town. And then we had a good line, which doesn't always happen from Cape Town. You need different hotels for that. And we talked for an hour. And, you know, from that moment on, I really was ready to say to Jason, before the Skype talk, I said, look, I don't think so. But we talked and we hit it off. And that's the key to this movie. You cannot make this movie without hitting it off, because the rest is all not worth it. Not really. Making a movie is worth it, but this is ridiculous. That we're in Sundance is ridiculous. And then they have a distribution deal. That was not part of the plan. So the click is the first thing and the last thing. That's the most important, and especially now, I think, because if you want to make movies, that's the way to do it. And be nice to these people. They don't make shit. They work hard for you. Just be nice to them and make a nice film. You're a rock. You're a rock.
For the other actors, what was the most fun for you? It's obviously a difficult shoot.
For me, the most fun was probably the skate scene. Getting in front of some hockey skates and kick shit out of Rutger Hauer. You guys do that, really, right? So that was definitely the highlight for me.
I don't remember most of it. I think back on it, and I don't really know what happened. I just sort of got into the character and trusted Jason and just kind of went with it. It's almost like I blacked out at a really good party.
Bull fucking shit. This guy was so alert and awake all the time. It was amazing to work with this guy. He was so precise. Everything was fucking like surgery. He was doing surgery.
But the first scene we shot, one of the first scenes we shot was the school bus scene. And I met these guys at Sundance at the screening of Revenge 2 years ago. And I was like, oh my God, I love the movie, I want to work with you. And all their friends warned me, they're like, you don't understand. They're really, really intense. Like, they'll make you do things that you may not survive. I was like, yeah, whatever, I can handle it. And the first scene I shot was that school bus scene. They gave me the flamethrower. And I tried it once outside, and it was like a 30-foot flamethrower. I was like, oh, I thought it was going to be like computer-generated flames. No. And it worked fine outside, but I asked them how to turn it off just in case there was an emergency, and they're like, what? Like, okay, well, you could turn this thing, I guess, or, I feel like it. And so then outside it worked fine, but it was kind of hot, and I was a little, blew back a little bit. And then we get in the school bus, and it was me and Nick, and we shot the flamethrower. And what I didn't realize was in the school bus, it was kind of like an oven. And so the flamethrower went for 2-3 seconds, and all of a sudden it got so hot, and his hair actually singed the top of all his hair off, and the whole roof started melting. And I pretty much lost my my shit. Excuse my French. And yeah, so that was.
It was hot. It was hot.
It was absurd. And so then we had to do it again, and I was so scared that I was holding the flamethrower and I was like crying because I was so scared. Like, Greg, that's not very slick. And so we did it again.
I don't know. Probably getting my arm chopped off by the lawnmower, ripping around and stabbing the Drake. It's probably the best moment of my life, actually.
Any other questions? Yeah.
Can I tell one more?
Oh, sorry. We'll get to you one second.
This is a personal favor because this is what I love so much. Other than all the people, we did this scene in this hospital, and the budget was low, so we had to be very careful. Because literally, the door would just give in and fall apart when you would kick it too hard, and the ceiling would come down, and that was so funny. That was so funny. The big monologue, the kids and stuff. So I get through this door. Not that tough, just get through the door, and behind me, the ceiling just comes down. Love it.
All right, sorry, yes.
First of all, those hats are amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Second of all, for me, this was my most anticipated movie of Sundance. How does it feel to know that you guys filled a theater for your movie?
Oh, it's an amazing feeling. It's incredible. I hope it lived up to your expectations.
Surpassed them.
Oh man, thank you. Thank you so much. All right, any other questions?
What was easier, climbing out of a manhole or climbing out of a shopping cart?
Well, I'm sorry to say that the manhole was impossible because my knees were on the ground and I couldn't move. I've never been in a tighter hole.
All right, I guess we got time for one more question.
Back row.
Oh, okay, yes.
I just wanted to ask Rutger how it feels to kick more ass than any action star alive
today. When I do, I enjoy it enormously, and because I do it for 40 years, I have to try different things. And when I started, I thought, well, I'll try different things anyway. So I'm not afraid to take chances and to go all overboard, and that was not the point. But to have audiences so young, so old, and so half women, half men, and I know that now because of the internet, and it's a pretty good guess, and to have people understand what I do and read me, that's wonderful, and it's pure communication. There's nothing like it. There's really nothing like it. There's nothing like it sitting with you, watching the movie. I feel every inch of you, If you say, we're keeping in the jargon here. No, but you know, you're so into this. I don't know this genre. This is the first time I'm really looking at it and go, fuck. But it's really fun.